Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be walking through, demoing, trying out, and doing a whole thing with the new Pixi by Petra Eye and Cheek palettes. Now, I was at my friend Jody G's house the other day. She got her PR package with all 4 palettes. It's 2 cheek and 2 eye. And she gave me 2 on the spot. She's like, I'm going to take these 2 because they're more my vibe. And she gave me the other set. And when I got home, I had a full PR package waiting for me. It is the first time I've been on their PR list, so I'm really excited about that. But because of that, I do have an extra 2 palettes. So in today's video, we're going to be trying the eye palettes, trying the cheek palettes, talking about all 4, but there's also going to be a giveaway. So if you want to win your own version of these 2 palettes right here, it is the Rosette Ray Eye Palette and the Sugar Blossom Cheek Palette. Like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and you'll be entered to win your own brand new, untouched, unopened, unswatched versions of these 2 palettes. And in addition, I will be demoing on camera the other eye palette, which is the Hazelnut Haze, and the other cheek palette, which is the Honey Nectar. So if you want to talk about all 4 of these palettes, see how they perform, see how the formula is, make sure to keep on watching, and don't forget to subscribe because I upload 3 times a week, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. I'm really loving the fall vibes today. I love the way this sage turned out. So if you want to join me on a tutorial of this, as well as a full review of the products, stay tuned. Okay, so I already put on my base and everything, and the first of the products we're going to try are actually going to be the cheek palettes. So I have both shades here, Honey Nectar and Sugar Blossom. Originally when I saw them, this one is Sugar Blossom. I thought that they were more of a light and deep version, and then after looking at them further, it's actually more of a warm and cool, because I would say that this one is a little bit lighter, but when I look at them in person, it's really just a little bit more on the warm tone side, whereas this is a little more of like a pinky rosiness undertone. This has more golds in it, like even this pink shade right here, it has more of like a golden reflect in it, almost like Orgasm from NARS. Now, these are new, and each of the cheek palettes retail for $16. I did use, which one did I use? I used this one already in a previous video. I was filming with Jody G and threw this on. So I'm going to use this one today. This is Honey Nectar, which is the warmer of the 2. I did already contour and put on my full base, but I'm going to grab the bronzer shade, and I'm just going to bronze up and warm up the skin. What I like about these powders, because this is not a first impressions, I have used it already. It is a soft powder, so it does blend out really easily, but it does give a really nice warmth to the skin. Obviously, it all depends on how much you put on. I'm going in with small, light layers, but if you want to build it up a little bit faster, you can kind of load up your brush. But it really does just give this really pretty warmth and dimension to the face. I am going to load up on a smaller brush, and I'm just going to contour just under the cheekbone, a little bit more intense. If you do want to use one color to contour and bronze in one go, the trick to that is intensity of color. So I usually will start off with a bigger, fluffier brush, and I will diffuse the color everywhere. And then I will go in with a much smaller brush and really precisely put that where I want it. And then jumping back into the big brush, I'll just blend it out a little bit to diffuse it. And that allows that bronzer shade to be both a bronze and contour. I'm going to end up using all of these today, but I'm going to take the blush out of the same palette and just stipple that over the cheek. Now, especially for something so affordable, I think it does give you quite a bit of pigment. So the way I like to apply them to make sure that they don't get too overpowering, because blush is really easy to OD on, although I do like quite a bit of blush, is I apply it in a patting motion, then I will tap off my brush, and then I will small circular motions just diffuse it over the cheek, and that'll help to soften the look of the blush a little bit more. And then I will take a little bit more of whatever bronzer I used, and I will just blend the edges out. Pro tip, it will always look overpowering and like you put on way too much until you put on your eye look. So I am going to do that, and that's going to tie this up. But before I go in with highlight, I do like to just grab a wet sponge and just press the blush and bronzer into the skin, just so everything melts in and looks a little bit smoother. So when I jump into the highlight, which I'm going to use a mixture of both, it will allow it to sit and melt into the skin as opposed to sitting on top of the skin. And the way that I apply this is I will tap back and forth between the two colors, and I will apply a sweeping motion over the cheekbones. Then with a tiny bit more product, I will round the brow. And then with nothing left on my brush, I will just small circular motions to blend that slightly down the cheek. And then back into my blush brush, I'll just pull and blend just like I applied the blush. So that way that glow kind of hits the entire cheekbone. It is still highlighting predominantly the cheekbone area, but it does just give you this soft focus glow on the whole cheek. Then jumping into the eye palettes. These retail for $22 each, and they are Rosette Ray and Hazelnut Haze. Rosette Ray is definitely a little more of a mauvey undertone, whereas Hazelnut Haze is a little bit more of like a brownie, you know, a little bit more of a neutral with that terracotta in the top corner. I feel like normally I would be inclined to go in with this one, so I'm going to use this one today. I'm going to grab a fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to jump into this shade down here, which is called Neutral. And I'm just going to lean my head back and blend that into the crease. Now these colors are super pigmented and super blendable. I went in with a tiny bit just because I'm using this as a transition shade. But if you really wanted to load this on and pack this on, you can. Next, for some definition, I'm going to go into the shade right here, which is called Bark. Whenever the colors are on the back of the palette, I always have to go back and forth like 9 times to actually get the color name right. And I'm going to take a decent amount of that on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to pat it around the outer corner of the eye, and then blend it into the crease. For the lid, I'm going to go into the Sage shade in the center, which is called Sage. And I'm going to take that dry to start. It's pretty dry, but I am going to grab a different brush, and I'm actually going to pack that on wet. This color is very pretty, but you definitely do have to wet it to get like a full opacity moment. But it is really pretty. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the darkest shade down here, which is called Deep. And I'm just going to blend that on the outermost corner into the sage color. That's really cute. All right, I'm going to go do this on this eye, throw on mascara and a lash, and I'll be right back. All right, so I did even out the eyes. I did not put on my mascara or lashes yet because just in looking at it, I have said this before for you guys, and I've been saying it forever. When I do a cool tone lid, I like a little bit more warmth in the crease. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of Russet down here, which is a terracotta shade, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that and just blend that up the crease, because adding that little bit of warmth, just look from here to here, it brings the whole thing together a little bit more than when you do a super cool toned crease with a green lid, because it just makes the whole thing look gray. Versus when you put that green next to that russet terracotta shade, it just makes the whole thing look a little bit more green. Now I'm going to go put on lashes and mascara. All right, I am back. I did throw a little bit of brown liner on the waterline and the same colors I used in the crease to smoke out the lower lash. And then I took this gold shade, which is called Gold, and I popped that on the inner corner, threw on a lip, and that was it. So this is the finished look using these two palettes. So I'm loving how all of these powders are performing. If I had to pick, I think I'm gonna say I like the eyeshadows more than I like the face palette. That being said, like I love the way the whole thing looks, so I have no complaints. I think that the sage is really pretty, and I think that's what's stealing the show for me, is that, nope, and then I pick up the palette that doesn't have the sage in it. I think that sage green in the center is really what's pulling this whole thing together. I mean, I'm really feeling the fall vibe. So this like sage with the burgundy red lip is just everything I'm feeling. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of these palettes down below. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.